Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. We're going to talk about lag today, and we're going to talk specifically about a big change the developers are introducing into the game to help combat it. Now, as we all know, lag has been getting worse in recent times, and the developers have noticed. They are constantly looking at ways, new techniques they can use to kind of take load off the servers in an effort to combat lag. So we've seen things like them looking at effects, them looking at things in the past. So they've modified, say, like lighting effects, for example. They're always kind of coming up with new ideas and new things to try and tweak lag. So this is a very significant one that they're planning to introduce in update 49. So this is kind of a follow up to my last video. I didn't mention it in that video. This is something new in this preview, but it's planning to be to hit the game in the same update as the range changes and all that other stuff I talked about a week ago. So what's the change? Well, basically, just to give you a simplified short version of it, when it comes to double strike and double shot, instead of those attacks applying two separate attacks, it's now going to apply just one. So for example, if you on your, let's say on your melee character, you're doing 1,000 damage a swing, and you double strike, you're going to do 2,000. Well, now on, instead of having two 1,000 damage strikes, you're going to have just one 2,000 damage strikes. So the idea here from the developers is this will reduce the number of calculations that the game has to do in the background. So what we see a lot in the game is the game runs behind. So if you see the floaty text, so if you see a lot of really fast attacks going off, you oftentimes see the text that pops up on the screen that shows your damage. It will start to lag, and even after you've killed the monster, a lot of the times you'll still see text popping up, and that's because the game is struggling basically to keep up with the number of calculations, and it's definitely it seems to be a source of lag. So that's basically what they're working to fix here. So what they've said here on the forums, and they did a really long post, which I'm not going to go through all of it. I'll link it below in the description if you want to do that. But basically, they're saying that in their simulations, in raid group scenarios, proccing on-hit effects use approximately 99.9% of processing power before this change, and after this change, their simulations are doing 50% available processing power. So hopefully this is something that should reduce lag. So let's kind of scroll down to some other effects or some other comments they had. So something else to note is that from now on, when you do a double strike, you'll see a little icon of two swords beside the damage number, just to let you know, because you won't know anymore. I guess there really was no indicator before, but this will let you know that other than just getting a separate attack, which is probably why they didn't really need the indicator, because he already had two different effects showing up. But now there's going to be a two swords icon next to a number if it's a double strike. One other really significant thing that they talked about here is that this is going to not affect DPS in the, basically not going to affect your bottom line DPS like in the long run, but it will cause more variance. So because of this change, you're going to have big numbers and small numbers. So basically you're going to have more misses and more higher spikes in your damage. And the reason for that is because now that it's one roll instead of two for a double strike, for example, instead of seeing 1,000 two times, you're going to see 2,000 on your damage, like I discussed before in my first example there. And also because of this, you're going to see more misses, because instead of having your attack roll twice, so for a double strike, for example, you would have two individual attacks. Now it's just going to be one. So you're going to see, so there would be attacks where you would like miss on the first roll, but on the second roll you would hit. So you wouldn't see as many zeros. But now you're going to see more zeros because you're not going to have these things being rolled separately. But the developers have said that the end desire here, the end goal, is that this works out to be a neutral change. So you will see more variance, but at the end of the day, your DPS is going to be the same. So here's what the developers said about that specifically. They said a major effect of this change is that you will see much spikier damage across the board. The multi-hit calculation takes the original roll into account when determining damage, which means that you'll see much higher highs and much lower lows. Attacks that crit will multiply that increased damage, so you'll see much higher numbers on those attacks. Attacks that miss will deal no damage as before, but rather a multi-hit, giving it a chance for a second strike to deal damage. They will still deal no damage as the original strike has missed. So they're saying here that this change will hopefully eliminate the floaty text and hopefully just reduce lag generally. So, this is what to expect. This is a change that, unlike other changes they've done in the past that are just background changes, this is a change that's going to be definitely noticeable. So you'll probably notice the difference in your numbers when you're hitting stuff. But just know that the bottom line goal here and what to expect is that you're not going to see any changes in your damage overall, but you will see more spikes. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. I will link this thread below, and also the developers did a Linabelt and Cordovan did a Wednesday live stream this week on the Wednesday live stream where they basically talked about this for an hour. So if you want to check that out, I'll also link that below. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Have a good one. Take care.